problem that I've been seeing more and more in combat sports. And I think there's this illusion within martial arts that a coach or a professor who is in possession of a black belt is invaluable. They are considered a pinnacle of morals, virtues, everything. And in some cases, there are some really, really high quality black belts who are also really, really high quality people. Where I see this from a coaching standpoint, where it's a bit of a limitation, is where the skills coach starts wearing many different hats. They become the strength and conditioning coach. They become the go-to person for injuries. They become the, hey, let's get your nutrition dialed up. And unless it's under the umbrella that your coach happens to also coincidentally be a professional in that particular field, let's say hypothetically your black belt coach also happens to be someone who is a strength and conditioning coach. He went to school for it. He's coached people. And not just like, hey, I pieced this together based on something somebody else gave me, and these are some things that I did for myself that helped me win some tournaments, and I'm passing it down to you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I work with athletes strictly on strength and conditioning. Or coincidentally, maybe to fund their ability to participate in this sport, maybe they're also like a massage therapist, something along those lines where like it's actually their profession. Unless it is within those constraints, I find it problematic when coaches are starting to take the role of anything beyond skills coaching. And it's not to take away from the fact that they're not a great coach at teaching that thing. They are a black belt in teaching jiu-jitsu. That does not mean by proxy, by default, that they are a black belt in treating rehabs or injuries, or even coaching somebody to be a better athlete in terms of performance. Even though that coach might have experience, they might even be a fucking world champion. Don't get me wrong. They have the experience. They know what they're doing. But it is not their area of expertise to coach it necessarily to other people. Because a lot of times, those athletes who are now coaches were coached by other people. Taking personal anecdote, taking personal experience, and trying to extrapolate it to everybody is not always going to work. To somebody who's like a basic, let's say you're new to the sport, you've never done strength and conditioning before. If you do any kind of structured routine program and you don't get injured, you're going to get stronger. But at some point, if you're trying to take your things to the next level, you're going to reach plateaus and there's going to be problems there. So finding somebody who is a specialist in coaching strength and conditioning, or more problematic, which is a little more in my lane on top of strength and conditioning, is the rehab aspect of it. I hear too often, this happens a lot more in MMA than it does in jiu-jitsu, but the skills coach is acting as like the rehab specialist. Like, oh, hey, here's some random stretches. I heard your knee hurts. Here, I had knee pain. Here are the knee exercises I did. These will work for you. Not knowing that those actually might make things worse and may not be appropriate at all for that particular athlete. We need to start having more along the mindset of a team, knowing when it's appropriate to refer out. As a physical therapist, I am not a mental health specialist. We can talk about mindset, we can talk about those things, but if somebody's dealing with depression or they're having things at home that require help, I'm referring my athletes to a medical specialist who deals with mental health. That's not my lane. Orthopedic surgeons are great at performing surgery. I cannot perform surgery. I would be terrible at it, and I would probably kill somebody. In doing so, if I know that I've exceeded my limits in terms of rehab, the athlete is no longer getting better under conservative treatment, and surgery is the only option moving forward, I refer them to the orthopedist because that's their area of expertise, only for them to return them back to me, which is my area of expertise, which is rehab. This needs to, if we're really truly looking out for people's best interest, it's important for coaches and for athletes to understand that people have limitations. I understand from an athlete standpoint, it's convenient to go to one place and have all of your shit dealt with and think that you're organized. The reality of that is maybe it is more convenient, but it's not necessarily more optimal. If you are getting random rehab exercises from somebody who is not a rehab specialist or understands how to treat injuries, you can really fuck yourself up way worse than you were before. And simply, hey, roll a little bit lighter, or hey, bro, just throw on a fucking knee brace, that's what I did, is not going to work. I've seen it happen way too many times where I've actually had somebody tell me, and this is countless stories, where their coach recommended something for them that fucked them up worse than they were before. Had they just gone out, had they just gotten the help that they needed from the correct person right away, it would have saved them months of time off the mats. So this is caution. Mostly because most of you who are listening to this are probably not going to be coaches, probably going to be more athletes. Beware of that pitfall of convenience. Just because your coach says that they can help you with that doesn't necessarily mean it is going to be the best option for you, especially when it comes to injuries. If you are injured, please do not go to your black belt coach unless coincidentally, there are a few exceptions of this, and I will tell you who they are. Unless your skills coach happens to be also a physical therapist. I know of one. Two. I take that back. There are two. There is one that I know that is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He coaches, and he's also a physio. He's great. Trust him. That's different. I know somebody also in the Muay Thai sphere who teaches skills training, mitt work for stand-up. They are a stand-up skills coach, also a physical therapist. Those are very rare exceptions. I don't care if your coach is a multiple-time world champion. If they are not an expert in rehab, they are not the person for you to go to. Hopefully, at some point down the line, the physical therapists and rehab coaches that help jiu-jitsu athletes will start to preach that to their coaches to be like, hey, I'm your person to go to. Please refer them to me. If they have questions about rehab, go talk to that person. I hope that every single gym has a physical therapist that happens to work there, that happens to work with a rehab, that deals with jiu-jitsu. But please do not fall short of finding something that's convenient when it could actually make things significantly worse. Some of you have probably experienced that firsthand, and I'm really sorry to hear that. I hate that for you. But in the future, moving forward, find the specialist. I'm not going to go to a swim coach to learn jiu-jitsu, right? Find the person who's a specialist in that specialist area and get their help. They're going to be the person. Or at least find somebody who can direct you in the right direction. If that somebody's you're not sure where to go. You're like, I don't know what to do with this. Please, always feel free to reach out. Be able to help you guys out, point you in the right direction. Till then, see you next episode. See you.